I ain't got no time for it. Yeah, yeah. Play no games, I made my mind up. Gotta get it. Tell the driver go to max speed. Yeah, yeah. Where we going, don't even ask me. I be in the back seat, riding till my mind gone. Yeah, yeah. Switching lanes and switching time zones. To the top, I gotta climb goals. When I get there, I'ma shine though. You know I'm playing to win. You know the game we in. You know my name is him. You know my name is him. I want you right on my side. I ain't gon' say it again. It's only one of me. It's about 1 billion of them. It was a minute ago, you tried it. Told me I wouldn't survive it. Told me to be more realistic. You know the devil be lying. You know the devil be lying to you. Be a success, what I'm trying to do. She get impressed when I'm sliding through. Get what you said, I no time for you. Got no time for it. Yeah, yeah. Play no games, I made my mind up. Gotta get it. Tell the driver go to max speed. Yeah, yeah. Where we going, don't even ask me. I be in the back seat, riding till my mind gone. Yeah, yeah. Switching lanes and switching time zones. To the top, I gotta climb goals. When I get there, I'ma shine though. You know. I gotta shine, I gotta shine, I gotta shine. I gotta shine, I gotta shine, I gotta shine. I gotta shine, I gotta shine, I gotta shine. I gotta shine, I gotta shine. I ain't got no time for it. Yeah, yeah. Play no games, I made my mind up. Gotta get it. Tell the driver go to max speed. Yeah, yeah. Where we going, don't even ask me. I be in the back seat, riding till my mind gone. Yeah, yeah. Switching lanes and switching time zones. To the top, I gotta climb goals. When I get there, I'ma shine though. You know.
Warning: the following image and/or content may be disturbing, offensive to some viewers. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Salute everybody. Welcome to the One Podcast tonight. I am the official urban therapist. And let's have this conversation tonight, all right? Um, I remember talking about racism. I think almost like about 2 or 3 months ago, I was talking about the effects of racism and did a whole live about it and everything. But tonight, I want to actually talk about this particular form of racism that I've been noticing. All right, this form of racism is known as woke racism. All right, once again, it's known as woke racism. All right. So what is woke racism? What is that? How did that look like? Now, woke racism, basically what it is when us as Black Americans, African Americans, when we have a revelation that that we are intelligent, we we can achieve different things if we put our mind to it. Um, we become woke by being aware of a heritage as well too, and different things like that of being woke. All right. But woke racism occurs when you become a little bit too into your heritage. All right. When it comes to the point where you be so much into your heritage of being black, you're learning your roots and everything like that and stuff, right? Where you just be too much into it, right? Let me give you an example. It's kind of like the equivalent of a person who's religious, right? Um, there are people who are religious and they believe in what they believe in, right? But there are other people who is called being zealous, all right, meaning that they is just radical in their belief system, all right. That's basically what woke racism is when it be to the extreme where you be so woke that you be racist towards some other race of people. So I want to talk about this tonight. I want to address this type of one behavior tonight. I'm gonna give y'all examples of this tonight, and I want y'all to be aware of this because for some strange reason, For some strange reason, we think that us being African Americans or us being black, for some weird reason, we think that we can't be racist. All right. So we're gonna talk about it tonight. Constance, salute, welcome. Appreciate you tuning in, and everybody else who are tuning in as well too. Appreciate you tuning into the podcast as well. And Constance asked a very important question. Urban, aren't you black? Well, if you're talking about my skin pigmentation, then yeah, I'm black. Technically speaking, my skin pigmentation is more brown caramel skin, but that's neither here nor there. But if you're talking about my ethnicity as far as being Afro American or um, having ancestors that are African, then of course through my DNA and stuff, yes, I am black as well too. So yes. But even though by me being black or being African American, that doesn't negate the fact that I can have the potential of being racist. All right, and that's what we're gonna talk about tonight. Is about being racist. Constantine, okay, everybody. I was just asking. I'm just trying to make sure. But yeah, the whole this whole point about black people can't be racist. I want to tonight on this podcast, I want to debunk that already. I want to go ahead and debunk that and let people know that black people can in fact be racist. Absolutely you can. Now the rebuttal on that is that the reason why black people can't be racist is because the same people that I told you they're part of this woke movement or woke racism. Their argument behind this is that since Caucasian people or white people invented racism in America, therefore that means that we as black people can't be racist. But that's not true. It's not true at all. We as black people can in fact be racist. We can be racist as hell. We really can. In fact, I believe that some of y'all are either consciously aware of that you're racist towards other race groups or ethnicity groups. Some of y'all are consciously aware of it, and some of y'all are not aware of it at all. But I ain't going to reveal that to you tonight on this podcast, and hopefully, it does give you a different perspective about this topic tonight. All right. So we're gonna dive into it. But first, I want to show y'all some. I'm gonna show y'all some TikToks. All right. I'm gonna show y'all these TikToks that I'm gonna pull up, um, and I'm gonna show y'all examples of this woke racism or this phenomenon of how black people can be racist towards other groups. All right, so let's go ahead and get that going.
I don't even know how we got to this point. I really don't. I'm about to play you this video. I think it's racist, and if you ask a bunch of other people, black people can't be racist.
What are white people superior at?
Insecurity?
Being fearful of nothing.
Being ignorant.
It's like stealing people's lives just because they feel like it.
If you are white and you know this is happening and you say nothing, then you're a killer too.
Oppression?
As my grandma would say, them white folk, they'll take it if you don't copyright it.
They are very good at destruction of land, destruction of people, destruction of humanness.
Congratulating themselves over shit that they're incompetent at.
Making bland food.
Playing the victim.
Smelling funky.
Honey, lying, stealing, and cheating. Superior at big dicks.
That was the most blatant racist video that I have seen in quite some time, right? One that is accepted. I don't even know how we got to this point. I really don't. I'm about to play you this video. I think it's racist.
All right, so this young man, he played the video, and he was giving different examples of how black people can be racist, preferably towards white people. All right, and so throughout these examples, they was giving examples of the behavior of white people. One person was saying that white people smells funky or smell bad. That was giving examples of white people having a superiority complex. That was giving all these different other examples as well too. But by them giving this example, this also is making them appear that they're racist towards white people. And yeah, everyone on the show was black, and it was for a reason, Constance. But every everything that they was saying was geared towards white people. So I'm going to show you another clip. All right,
And
this is why racism will be around forever. I've seen this TikTok and it says black people are high-key racist, but we hate when people are racist to us. I went to the comments and a lot of people were mainly talking about black and white people because they seem to think that those are the only races. Besides the point, I seen this comment right here that said, not me, but y'all be safe. Only to white raccoons. This guy replied, we only racist to black raccoons too. And then they get into this, like argument or whatever. It doesn't really matter. My point is, I don't care if you think you can be racist to white people or not. But what do you think you're gonna gain from discriminating against white people based on the color of their skin? You expect them to read that and be like, yeah, I think I deserve to be called that. My ancestors did some bad things and I take full accountability for that. No. They are gonna retaliate because, bro, if someone says some disrespectful stuff to you, you finna sit there and think of the most disrespectful thing you can say, and then you gonna say it. If you really wanted equality, you wouldn't be saying dumb shit like this. At the end of the day, we gotta realize, not all white people are racist. Not all black people are ghetto and thugs. We've gotta stop generalizing and stereotyping people. There's good and bad people in every race. And once everybody can understand that, the world will be a lot better. This is why racism.
All right, so once again, in this example, this young man, he's giving another example. Now, in this particular example, right, he is sharing with his experience in the chat right, where these two individuals going back and forth being racist towards each other, calling raccoons and all that type of stuff. All right. So once again, this is another example how black people can be racist towards other groups. All right. Racism doesn't black people are not exempt from being racist. Period. Okay. So I'm gonna give you some more examples, and then I'm going to go into way more detail about this. All right.
Will be around.
The caucasity of so many of y'all. Let's get into it. Watch this, y'all.
All right, I'm going to stick up for my white brothers and sisters because what is this man saying? What is he? It always kills me whenever black people try and say that white people can't experience racism, because in what clouded world do you live in? What clouded world can a race be excluded from racism? What? Those people, those kids, that man, they were joking. That's literally TikTok. If I put on a white face, someone would put on a black face just because it's literally the concept of TikTok. It's like jokes. It's like dark humor, like that. And for him to make it such of a stretch, that's weird to me. That's curious to me. In America, especially in America, black people are offered a whole lot of things that white people are not. Tell me that isn't racist in itself. But black people preach that.
Actually, that is not her one point. That's not racist. Actually, that's a form of what is known as classism. All right, where a certain group of social class has special type of privileges did another type of social class. That's basically what classism is. And people normally try to say that classism is racism, that they one and the same, but to be honest, it's not. It's two totally different scenarios. All right.
They want to stop segregation, yet they keep Yet they, as soon as they get an opportunity that a white person doesn't get, oh yeah, they're taking it. Best believe. It's just like black people. Like, come on now. Now, come on.
The caucasity of so many.
Right. This is how I sing the song. I'ma fuck with my. We ain't worried about you. We gon' get to this money. If it's the last thing we do, I'ma fuck with my. That's how I have to sing the song. Jarv did not make it. Jarv D did not make it very, friendly to sing. This is how I sing the song. I'ma fuck with my.
By this dude being Asian, right? He's afraid.
This is how I sing the song.
Because he's afraid if he say the N word, then he's gonna be considered as being racist.
Or gender. If you wonder if Black people being racist to black people.
And black people say black people ain't racist to their own people. That's a black person right there. I love country music. I love R&B music. I love all types of music. Just because I love country music don't mean white people made me like country music. I like it on my own terms. And this is why we can't get along. You call me a KK coon, a KKK coon to be exact. This is ignorance at its finest. You see what I said? I make you famous. I give you views because I'm not finna sit here and be negative towards you. Get out your box. Explore the world a little bit. Learn new people and new things. Get out your feelings.
Black people being.
All right. So once again, let's have this conversation, y'all. Let's have this conversation. Now, Ms. Banks, you're asking me why am I giving commentary and I'm showing these TikTok videos from children. First of all, a lot of the videos that I showed, it wasn't just from children. You know what I'm saying? That's the first part of that. Now, the second part of that is that you got to understand that everyone, no matter what age group you're in, experience forms of racism. All right. So racism is not exempt based on age. So that's why I'm showing different age groups. Some of them were, a little younger, some of them were older. And like this last Gemini show, he's roughly about our age. You know what I'm saying? So I could show y'all the difference between the two, but at the end of the day, everybody is experiencing the same type of situation. All right. But once again, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Now, what I want to let y'all know is this. All right. The whole thing about racism is a learned behavior. Let me say that again. Racism is a learned behavior. It is something that a person is taught to be. Okay. It is something that throughout generations and generations and generations, this person or persons or groups or whatever the case may be, they're taught to have a certain type of superiority complex over other group of people. This is the reason why this is the reason why I say that black people can be racist, because racism and to be racist is based on behavior. Racism is based on behavior and racism is based on choice. And yes, Ms. Banks, black people are taught to be racist. They're programmed to be racist. Some more. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and generalize and say that every black person in America or in the world has been taught this. because that would be unrealistic. But however, there are some that have been taught how to be racist towards other groups, including black people. And just to give you another perspective, right? When I say black people now, when I'm using the term black people, I'm not talking about just black Americans. When I say black people, I'm talking about any person who contains melanin skin. That's what I'm talking about. Any person who contains melanin in their DNA, who has a large proportion of melanin in their DNA. That's what I'm talking about, black people. So I'm talking about black Americans. I'm talking about Indian Americans. I'm talking about Hispanic Americans. I'm talking about anyone who's melanated has the potential of being racist towards other groups. Absolutely. And once again, racism is a learned behavior. It is something that can be taught. Now let me give y'all an example of what I'm talking about. All right. Let's say for example that for some strange reason you was growing up, right, and your either your mother, your father, or your parents, or whatever, they dislike Hispanic people, right? And they always say something bad about Hispanic people in front of you. Oh, look at these Hispanic people. Look at these whipbacks and all this stuff there. And they always be saying this over and over again to you while you're young. And so you pick up on this behavior. You pick up on this behavior trait, and now it's part of your immediate reality that Hispanic people are wetback, that they're lazy, that they're just trying to get over it on the system and all these different things. But it is a learned behavior that you've been taught. This is no different from white or Caucasian people. The same thing when they grow up and their parents is teaching them about racism, or black people are lazy, black people are thugs, black people are going to rob you, because it's a learned behavior that's been taught. When ancestors in this country was dealing with slavery and dealing with racism and dealing with segregation, the white and Caucasian people in this country, they parents was teaching them about that, teaching them that you should treat these people a certain way, that you should treat this certain group a certain way because you're better than them, that you're more superior over them. Likewise, in the same exact way, even as being black, you could want to be racist towards other group. I have personally experienced Indian people who are racist against black people. Now I'm talking about black American people. I have experienced Hispanic or Latin Americans or Mexican people being racist towards black people. I have experienced black people being racist towards Hispanic people or Mexicans, Indian people, Japanese, Chinese people. But once again, it is built on learned behavior. Yeah, James said every race somebody going to be lazy. Yeah, I mean, it's facts. It's true. It's true. Now, I was showing y'all these different TikTok videos tonight, y'all. I was showing y'all these different TikTok videos for a reason. The reason why I was showing y'all these TikTok videos is because these group of people was pointing out the certain behavior that these other people was talking about. Once again, these people was pointing out the certain behaviors that what these other people was talking about. And in their mind, they're thinking in their mind that they're not being racist, that they get a quote unquote pass, but in reality, no, you're being racist. Now, as much as I can respect Dr. Umar Johnson, as much as I can respect him and what he do for us, who he is, there be a lot of times where he be too woke, where he be woke to a racist point of view, where his wokeness push him into an area where he started resembling behaviors of being racist towards other groups. So I believe that in order for everyone to push towards something positive, right, where we could get past this racism, I believe that all of us have to be held accountable for the behavior and choices that we make, regardless of our skin color. Ms. Banks, she said blacks use racial slurs because other ethnic groups use it because they adopted racial slurs from non-melanated people to push back from their slurs. Even in that comment, right? That still proves what I'm talking about. It being a learned behavior. The only way that all of us can truly end racism if we take individual accountability. Once again, the only way for all of us, could truly end racism is for us to take personal accountability for the choices and decisions that we make. Now, there used to be a point in time in my personal life, right, where I used to be that way, where I used to go and talk about other groups. Um, for example, I used to talk about white groups or white people or Caucasian and stuff, right? I used to make all these racial slurs to get them saying that they rednecks and trailer trash and all these different negative slurs and stuff, right? I used to say that. I used to want to say this towards Hispanic and Mexican. They're wetbacks. They always be trying to do this, especially during that time where we were saying that the Mexicans and trying to get over into the United States, to get away from Mexico. So when I started realizing that I was doing these things right, that's when I started slowly but steady start taking accountability for me. Start taking accountability for my personal decisions and choices that I was making. But it took some time because some of y'all who are watching right now, some of y'all, y'all think that, well, ain't nothing wrong with me saying the things that I say, ain't nothing wrong with me being super woke, and ain't nothing wrong with me having a superiority complex over my race because this race, this other race had a superiority complex, and I believe that they still have a superiority complex, so that gives me an entitlement to do the same. And that's where it boils down to, is that entitlement part. Since y'all did this to my ancestors, right? Since y'all was talking down on my ancestors, I am entitled to do the same exact thing to y'all. So that's what we do. In my case, that's what I was doing. But I started realizing and learning that the things that I was doing, it wasn't cool. I started realizing that at the end of the day, that regardless of our quote unquote skin pigmentation, regardless of our quote unquote DNA in us, at the end of the day, we all are human, period. Once again, we all are human, period. Who are filled with experiences, who are filled with emotions, and all that. And you say who has had entitlement? Everyone. Everyone. Back in the day, back in the day, the Caucasian or white people and their ancestors, they had that superiority entitlement complex in this country. In this modern day time right now, and a lot of us have this is developing this superiority entitlement complex, that we feel that we're more superior than each other. I often say this as well too, that there's no such thing as white supremacy. And I know I'm gonna get pushback on this, but there's no such thing as white supremacy. But there is a such thing as having a behavioral or supremacy. Once again, there is a such thing as having a behavioral supremacy, meaning that it ain't just exclusive to a group of people, but it's exclusive to people, period, who have this type of one mentality, who believe that they are more superior than each other. Ms. Banks, she asked saying who still has entitlement, or who think can get privilege over everybody. Who get privilege over everybody? The answer to that question, who get privilege over everybody, is based on what I said, is based on classism, or is based on social class. There are one certain social class, there are quote unquote more privilege than other one social class group. This is the reason why in every country around the world, every country around this world, social class exists. Once again, every country all over, social class exists. Meaning that you have the rich, or as we call the elite class. You have the rich or the elite class. Then you have the people who are wealthy, and normally in the wealthy class, that's people who are like celebrities or athletes, so different things like that. Then you have middle class. Then you have people who are poor. So the privileges is based on social class. It's based on how much wealth that person could attain. It's not necessarily based on your ethnicity. This is the reason why that any person, regardless of their ethnicity, could be part of a social class. Let me challenge y'all on this. Let me challenge y'all on this. Give me an example of any group of race, right, that is ultimately superior than everybody on this whole entire planet. There's one group, a race, who is superior over everybody. I guarantee that you can't, because when you think about that, immediately what you're going to think about, you're going to start to think about the elite that are here in this country, the elite that are here in America, and you're going to want to classify them as being elite all over the world, but that's not true. They're not the elite all over the world. They're the elite in this country, in America, and in the United States. True, but they're not the elite all over the world. They're different all over the world. They have elites there, and these elite people are different race. They're not the same exact race all over the planet. They're different race. They're different ethnicities all over the planet. And my expertise is sociology, so this is my subject. This is my subject. So there's no one group of race that is taking over the whole entire world. But there are elite people all over the world, different groups, different races, but it's based on social class. The higher you are in your social class or your social status, the more quote unquote you're considered as being privileged. And y'all want to know what make this true? Look at what's going on in our country, in the United States right now. What make this true is that look at the president, the current president, and now the former presidents. They are privileged not because of their skin color. They are privileged because of their social class status. Once again, they're privileged because of their social class status, not their skin color. This is the reason why presidents get certain special treatment, even in the law. They get certain special treatment because they're considered as part of the elite group. That's why presidents could do certain things, long as they're not doing things that dealing with racism or anything like that. That's why they could do darn me whatever. But a person like me and you, right, who are part of a lower social class than, these presidents and stuff, right, or these other higher elite people, right, we don't get as much treatment or privileges as they do. Like for example, these people they could literally go. They don't have to sign no paperwork or anything like that to acquire a loan. They could just literally ask, "Hey, I want this," and they'll get it based on their social class status, based on their privilege. But for us, a person like me and you who are in a lower social class, we can't do that. It is not based on racism, it's based on social class. We can't do that. We have to do what is known as applying for a loan. We have to do what is known as us signing a contract of agreement. They necessarily don't have to sign the contract or agreement, but we do to acquire certain type of loans or goods and services, but they don't. But this is based on social class. And that is true, Miss Banks. The presidents they forced a presidency. That is true what you're saying. That they do have limited power. That is absolutely true because the overall power is with the House of Representatives and with Congress. So you're absolutely correct about that. And you're correct that the president is pretty much the face of the country. You're right. I agree with you on that. But even then, that still goes along with what I'm talking about for us, the social class. You said, did I see the last president here attack ethnic groups? No, I didn't see that. What president? You talking about Biden? Yeah, because I haven't never seen nothing like that. I mean, people is black and I'm keeping up with the times. I am, but not with everything, because I have to deal with my personal life as well. If it be interesting to me, then I keep up with it. But lately, I haven't been keeping up with things that have been happening because of my personal life being way more important right now. James, saying why I'm being so hard on us. The reason why I'm talking about this, James, and I'm as you say, being hard on us because I want to give the reality of the difference between us dealing with racism and dealing with social class. And my goal tonight is to explain to y'all the difference between the two, and also explain to you that anybody can be racist, no matter the group that you're in. Anybody can be racist. Black people are not exempt for being racist. Oh, you said Trump? Oh, I gotta check that out. I gotta check out and see what Trump said. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't know none of what was going on. But I'll check it out though. I'll check it out just for you. I'll check it out. The last thing I heard about Trump was that he got this Twitter reinstated. That was the last time I heard about him. But I've been keeping up with nothing else lately. But yeah. And now my mom said don't need upgrade, and I'm already upgraded. But thank you for the consideration though. It does that some things are more important than other things, in my reality. um, what else I'll talk about? Constance talking about she need to bleach her skin to be white. No, that's what I'm saying, Constance. That's what I'm saying though. It don't have nothing to do with your skin color. It have everything to do with your social class. Now, if you raise up your social class, the higher up you go in your social class, the more quote unquote privilege you'll be. Let me give y'all another example of this, all right? And this still dealing with not only social class, but this dealing with a form of racism too. Y'all know that last TikTok that I was showing y'all about old boy. He was saying that another black person was being racist towards him, and he's black, right? Do y'all know that y'all actually be racist towards each other based on y'all social class? Let me give you an example. Well, I take that back. I want to say racist. I would say that y'all be prejudiced towards each other. Yeah, that's better. Not racist. Scratch racist. Y'all be prejudiced towards each other based on your social class. Y'all want to know how y'all be doing that, right? I'm privy to you. How? Now I know how many of y'all who are watching right now, right? I know that in your community that you reside in, right? I know that if you were to go to a low income area, right? And you know that you live in a more suburban area, right? What are you going to do when you be in that area, that low income area, and you know that you are in a suburban area? What are you going to do? You're going to feel some type of way. You're going to feel you're going to not feel safe. The reason why you feel that way because it's based on your prejudice towards that lower social class. Because you feel that since you have quote unquote made it, since you had worked towards being at the social class that you want to be at, you feel that anyone there beneath you, right, that they are inferior and you are superior over them. So some of y'all may go into these low income areas or as y'all call the ghetto, right? Some of y'all may go over there, but if you do go over there, the only way that you will want to go over there, right? The only way that you will go over there is two reasons. Reason number one, if you just so happen is passing through that area because you're trying to get to another destination and you have to pass through this neighborhood to get to your final destination. That's reason number one. Reason number two, reason number two is very, very common. Reason number two is because you may have some type of relative that is part of the lower social class than you that resides in that neighborhood. So you have no other choice but to go over there and visit that relative. Say I'm lying. Say I'm lying about that. So you have no other choice but to want to go over there and visit their relative who lives in this income poverty neighborhood. Oh, Trish, salute. I meant to say something to you. Salute. Oh, Rico, what's up with it, bro? And what's up with everybody else who's in the chat as well too, or who in the bushes watching too? All right, salute to y'all. But them are the only two reasons that you're going to that neighborhood. That you'll actually go into that neighborhood. Is you either passing through or you actually know someone who lives in that neighborhood and you have no other choice but to go into that neighborhood. But I guarantee when you go in that neighborhood, you're not going to feel protected. Some of y'all probably drive through there with your doors locked. Some of y'all probably even drive through there strapped up and everything. And then don't stay there long neither. Some of y'all won't stay in them neighborhoods at night. Y'all try to do your best to go in the neighborhood during the day. I'm gonna want to pull up in the day, but I'm not gonna stay at night. I'm gonna want to leave at night. That's exactly what Trish said. Shoot, lock your damn doors and be looking. Y'all sure do. I'm gonna give y'all another example too. And I just thought about this about them locking them doors, right? I'll give you another example. Y'all do the same exact thing when you be driving, right? And you pull up to that red light, and guess what you see to the left of you? You see a homeless person to the left of you who's panhandling. And what do y'all do to that homeless person who be panhandling to you to the level? What y'all do to them? Some of y'all probably be nice and either give that panhandler money or even food. But even when you do that right, guess what you're gonna do? Click, you're gonna lock that door. And if you decide to help that person, if you're not being prejudiced against that person, guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna roll your window down, just at least where you could just at least stick your arm out and give that person, whatever it is you're gonna give them. But you're not gonna raise it all the way down. That right there is an example of social class and having a prejudice due to your social class status. It's not racist, it's being prejudiced. That you feel like that since you're driving this car, whatever type of car you're driving, since you feel like that you having a whatever type of job that you have, you feel like that you're better than that person. In fact, in your mind, you're probably thinking that, man, that person does lazy as hell. That person needs to just do like what I did. Not understanding that person's situation. But you're being prejudiced against that person. And all of that is based on social class, your social class status. And here's another thing too that happens too. Like even during this time of year, right? They call this time of year the spirit of giving. All right. So even in this time of year, this one, some of y'all knowing good and well that you have not been to no type of homeless shelter, you have not been feeding the poor or nothing like that throughout the whole entire year, but you wait towards this time to feed the homeless, to feed people who are lowly income than you. And the reason why y'all do that is the same reason why the upper level social class do it to you. And the reason why is because of two reasons. First reason, tax status, because you can want to get a write-off. Second reason is obvious. Notoriety. So just like how the elite do to the middle class people, the middle class people do the same to the lower income people as well too. You're going to just participate and just do just the bare minimum. But in all that, that's based on social class, and that is based on a form of prejudice as well. Now, once again, I want to reiterate that that's not racism, that's being prejudiced. Yeah, you're correct, Trishawn, to make you feel better. Yep. And that's based on that notoriety I'm talking about. Yeah, Rico saying facts. Yeah, Miss Bank, Miss Banks ain't feeling it at all. She's saying I'm not prejudiced, that's unapologetically black. And to be honest with you, personally speaking, I don't see nothing wrong with you or anyone being unapologetically black. I don't see nothing wrong with that. I don't see nothing wrong with people being part of different racial groups and stuff, right? Be more what's the word I'm looking for? Be more active with that group because that's what you're a part of, right? I don't see nothing wrong with doing that. But as the title of my show is saying, right, when you become extreme with it, right, when you be like too woke with it, right, that's when it start raising red flags. Where you be so extreme with it, right, that you just feel like that you want a God level superiority complex over every other group. I believe that us as human that we have to treat all of us with dignity and respect. Period. No matter the group, no matter what group that you want to subscribe to. And this also and now I'm just talking about race, all right, but this also could deal with sexual orientation as well too. Wherever one group that you're part of and stuff, at the end of the day, we all have to treat each other with dignity and respect. You may not have to agree with it, but I believe that it's a part of you being human, that at least at least show some form of dignity and respect for you, for your moral compass. You don't have to just like the things that happen with our ancestors and stuff, right? You don't have to replicate the same thing. The things that happened to our ancestors when they was dealing with racism, when they was dealing with racism, they was dealing with segregation and stuff in this country, that shit was fucked up. But that's because they went through that traumatic experience. That doesn't mean that we go back and replicate that same exact thing, tit for tat. So she did this to my ancestor. Well, I'm gonna do the same thing too. When you do stuff like that, that cycle is never going to stop. Then also, it make the work that our ancestors did for us to get out of that, and make the work become undone when you want to get into that extreme level. Now, once again, I'm not saying that is wrong for you to be woke. There ain't nothing wrong with being woke. But when you're extreme with your wokeness, then yeah, that is no different from a person who is religious, being an extremist with their religion. It's no different from that. So that's all I'm saying about that. All right. You said if you're woke, then knowing people are manipulating your mind to make you feel better, then what's going on with those doing the manipulation? So the answer to that question, Ms. Banks, is this. The answer to that question is this. You shouldn't be allowing a person to manipulate your mind to begin with in the first place, because remember, God has given you the ability to choose whatever the hell you want to do in your life. If you believe in God. If you don't believe in God, you have the ability to choose whatever the hell you want to do. The only way people would manipulate you to do things that are out of what you want to do is if you allow that person to do that. If you allow that person to enter into your immediate reality and do that to you. Once again, if you allow that person into your immediate reality to do that to you, then yes. So what would be more profitable? For you to allow someone to come into your media reality and manipulate you with negative things and negative thoughts and a negative reality about different groups and stuff, right? And you allow them to do that to you, or you overcome that and you make your own choice. You make your own reality. You make your own decisions. and you go from there and you do it on your own. I mean, hell, that's what I do. I don't allow the construct of racism, the constructs of people opinions, or how the way they feel, and all this stuff dictate me or how I should feel. I make my own choice and I make my own decisions wherever I do. Period. I control my own ship, my own destiny. Period. The only way that people would do certain things to me if I allow them to do that. If I end up on linking up with them people and saying, "Hey, I am in agreement with whatever it is that you're talking about," and now it became my immediate reality. Matter of fact, let me give y'all this example. I said this before. Matter of fact, when I did my live, when I was talking about um the Black Hebrew Israelites, right? When I was telling y'all that what Kyrie Irving and what that video was saying that Black people are the Black Hebrew Israelites, and I was agreeing with that, right? Um, when I had my run in with the Black Hebrew Israelites, the actual organization of the Black Hebrew Israelites, right? When I had my run in with them, and I used to have conversations with them all the time. We used to have conversations and debates all the time, all the time. It was to the point that instead of the Hebrew Israelite organization, instead of them trying to teach me something new that I could go back and I can make a choice about it and learn it on my own and make a choice about it, they was pushing a narrative, pushing the agenda. That's pushing the agenda of racism. And I'm gonna be real about it. I'm gonna be real about it. That was also pushing the agenda of anti-Semitic behavior, or is it Semitic behavior? But that was pushing that as well too, and I didn't agree with that. And so when I didn't agree with that, guess what they was calling me? They began to be racist towards me, and I was supposed to be their brother. They started saying that I'm an Uncle Tom. They saying that I'm what's that dude on Boondocks on Uncle Ruckus? You're Uncle Ruckus. You're a coon. You done sold out. All because I had pushback and I wasn't agreeing with what they were saying. Like even right now, even with this whole podcast that I'm talking to y'all about right now. Even though that I have a different perspective about this, right? Guess what? At the end of the day, I don't have no prejudice or indifference for any one of y'all in the chat, even if y'all disagree with me. It doesn't bother me, nor I'm not trying to do this podcast to try to convince you to agree with me. That's one thing that y'all should know by tuning in and watching me is that I never, never, ever, ever will force people to agree with what I'm talking about. All I do is give you my perspective about it, and that's it. If you agree with it, it's cool. If you don't agree with it, it's cool. But it makes good dialogue because we're going back and forth with each other. I'm giving you my perspective, and you give me your perspective. Some things, we could agree with. There are other things we're like, hell no, I ain't feeling that at all. But that's all part of the human process. That's all part of effective communication. Because we're not always going to agree on everything. We're going to want to disagree. And the reason why we'll disagree is based on like I say before and I say again, based on our social status or social class, also based on our upbringing, based on our personal experiences as well too. Now, there's some of y'all in the chat, y'all probably very well had experience forms of racism against other one groups. Y'all probably had experience that, but I haven't experienced that, not in that level. But that's because I really haven't experienced that in that level how you experience it, right? That doesn't mean that I think you're wrong. But that's what tends to happen is that sometimes when we be having these conversations, right, that we be wanting people to agree with us so bad, where we want to push it and push it and push it instead of just saying, "Hey, I'm just speaking my mind, and if if you agree, you agree. If you don't, you go and just leave it at that." But I believe that we have to get to a level of maturity where we no longer don't be doing it towards each other, where we got to be right all the time, or you got to agree with what I'm saying all the time, because in reality that is not going to happen. We're not going to agree all the time. Then one other thing too, and I'll just talk about this too. Another thing too, since I'm thinking about this, is that we also have to learn how to respectfully disagree and move on, where it won't put us into a certain space where we be all triggered and stuff. Be so triggered where you end up um, not liking the person, or you even hating the person based on a difference of opinion. We have to get to a level of maturity where you don't be triggered by stuff like that. That don't bother you because you know where you stand at. That's where you should stand firm at. So, Ms. Banks, she said, manipulation is power if you're good at it, and oppressors, though you're a manipulator, will weaken or surrender their minds and they'll fall asleep to it. Yeah. And um, you remember when I was doing my other shows and stuff, right? And I was telling y'all about the power that women have, that women are master manipulators, right? That pretty much goes into what you're talking about. And you say, how do we get to racism? Because that's the title of the show. The title of the show is Woke Racism. So that's what we've been talking about throughout this whole podcast. It's on woke racism. And you say you're radical. Yeah, and I mean, ain't nothing wrong with being radical. Yeah, never said. In fact, Miss Bank, on a lot of things that you were saying stuff, I actually agree with you. There are a few things that I don't agree. You know what I'm saying? But that don't make me look at you any different. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, it's all good. It is all good. You say that women are cunning. That's what you meant to say. Women are cunning. If that's what you're trying to say, then yeah, that is true. It's all part of y'all DNA to be that way. There's nothing wrong with it as long as you're using it for good reasons. A matter of fact, me and Mrs. Urban, we was having a conversation about this last night. Um, we was having pillow talk last night. we was on having pillow talk last night. We was kind of talking about that a little bit, and I was telling her that there are certain things that she'll say to me, right? Um, she'll say it to me in a way where uh, it would trigger me to act. It would trigger me to act differently or to see things differently. Or see things from her perspective. You know what I'm saying? And just because that happens and stuff, right? That doesn't mean it's wrong or it's bad. Because it be things that she say that it be absolutely correct. And I'm like, you right about that, honey. You are right. Chris T, salute. But yeah, y'all are. That's how the way y'all supposed to be. You say funny women have a reason for everything. Yeah, I agree. You said country to get racism. I don't know what you talking about, girl. But that's like I say, that's the whole point of this show tonight. That I just wanted to reveal to y'all about this woke racism that's going on right now with black people, especially in this country, where this woke racism, it can become a stream, where it becomes like a stream, it becomes too much, and the very thing that you're trying to fight to protect, you end up becoming that very thing. And once again, black people can be racist, especially in this country. You absolutely can be racist because, once again, being racist and the whole racism that is based on their behavior. Based on the behavior, a learned behavior. And it don't matter the race or anything like that. Mm. This was pretty interesting. I don't see how I looked over this comment. I'm gonna put this comment on the screen real quick. That's an interesting point that you made. Hold up. I'm not put it on the screen. Where is that? Okay. This comment right here that you made on Ms. Banks is pretty interesting comment. You said all things being equal, no neighborhood should be unsafe economically or given same opportunity as non-melanated people. That is an interesting perspective, you know what I'm saying? If things were equal. Now if we live in a social economic society, right, where we don't have social class, right, and we just people, right, then yeah, we could live in equality for real. I mean, it's possible, but there's a but to that. All right, there's a but to it. The one but to that is that we're dealing with learned behavior. The reason why that people is in a lower income status is because of learned behavior. Because let's be realistic about it. And me being doing social work and also being a sociologist, what I'm gonna say is absolute truth. All right. Many people who are in a lower income status, the reason why they don't want to get out of that status is because they're comfortable with where they at. They're comfortable with getting on government assistance because that is they feel that is the easy way out. the easiest way to attain living. So if it's easy, then they feel, why should they change it? Why should they change it up? Why should they do something different? And so therefore they stay in that low income mentality. They stay in that low income state because it's easy. But what's interesting about that, right, is that now for example, right, for example, um, the parents, right, they have the mentality that they are comfortable in being in that state of mind, right? They're comfortable in living in low income status and everything, right? They're comfortable receiving government assistance and all these other type of services as well too. They're fine with that. But however, some will want to teach their children to do better than them, and so they'll want to push to get their children out of that status where they in, so their children could at least could be either in a middle class status or higher. So they'll start pushing for their children to be part of higher education, which is some form of college. Some will also want to push for their children to do, extracurricular activities, which is, your sports and different things like that, to try to help elevate them out of the status so they could get out the status, you know what I'm saying? The children. But then again, and I have seen this, where there are other parents, they would teach their children to be a part of the system. They'll say, since I'm a part of the system, I'm gonna put you on game so you can be a part of the system. So they'll teach their children to go out and get social services and everything, and keep them in that state of mind. And the reason why is based on what I said earlier, because it's part of their absolute reality. Indian were welcoming, and they were not racist, yet they got labeled savages because they were protecting their home. Dude, you talking about Indians? You talking about the Aboriginals? Talking about the Aboriginals in America? Because when you say Indian, right, they're two different sets of Indian people, right? They're the one Aboriginals, who were the part of the original occupants of Turtle Island, which is known as the United States. If you're talking about them, then you're talking about the other Indian people who reside in in the Asia continent. But yeah, those labeled as savages, stuff like that. Yeah, historically, that is true. Racism was created so some will not get the privilege to use this world resources equally. Hey, Sweet Reader, salute. Appreciate you on there. That's more that comment is more of a prejudice than racism, though, when I think about it. Yeah, the original people that was already here, the original people that was here on Turtle Island, they're called the Aboriginals. But yeah, that was pretty messed up that these European settlers post up on this land and did what they did. Then set up here had the audacity to be part of a transatlantic slave trade and stuff, right? Yeah, be part of the transatlantic slave trade, and them dudes set up here dropping slaves off all over the place. Drop slaves off in the Caribbean and all over the place. Matter of fact, when me and Mrs. Urban, when we went to Jamaica, right? When we had went to Jamaica, we was in where we was in, what was that? We was at Ocho Rios. We went to Ocho Rios in Jamaica, right? Um, Jamaican um people and stuff, right? They was sharing with us their history and stuff, right? And they was telling us the same as that thing that we learned too in America. They was saying that Christopher Columbus, right, sit up here and lied in history saying that this dude landed on a land that wasn't inhabited, but in reality the land was already inhabited. Jamaica was already being inhabited, and these fools land on this land and did the same as that thing that they did, in the Americas and stuff too. So they were sure with me and Mrs. Urban about everything that happened with that. How them fools doing all their crazy stuff. Mm, mm, mm. Oh goodness. Do, do, do. All right, here's the definition on Ms. Banks. On the definitions between prejudice and racism. All right, here it is. All right, so prejudice is the perceived opinion of another person not based on reason or experience. It can either be positive or negative. Some, but not all, or racially in nature and have racist outcomes. It's unlikely to impact people as negatively as racism. All right. But racism is the belief that a race is equated with a particular trait. That's part of it. The second part of it is the belief that some races are superior to others. That's why I've been saying in this podcast. Then the last part is the resort in a unequal distribution of power on the basis of race. So that's the difference between being prejudiced and being racist, or prejudice and racism. Do, 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 do. Yeah, so that's what I was saying earlier. The comment that you made earlier, it could be more be perceived as being prejudiced in nature than being racist. Mm, mm, mm. And you said, I'll put your comment up. You said both have been applied to black people, and if it's not happening to somewhere else, they both work against black people, which that is true. I agree with you on that. Absolutely, I agree with you on that. Both have been applied to our ancestors. Our ancestors have dealt with a high level of prejudices and a high level of racism. I agree with you on that. I agree. But like I say, even though it happened to our ancestor, that doesn't exempt us from resembling these same traits. Because we can be prejudiced and racist towards other group of people. We sure can. And the other point that I want to make is that racism isn't something that was just invented in America. Okay, because that's another claim that people say is that the reason why black people can't be racist because racism was invented in America, and that is not true. That is a false claim. Racism has been happening all over the world. Once again, racism happens all over the world. Um, we was talking about Kanye Ye and Kyrie Irving, right? And the whole pushback that they was having against the Holocaust. Now, the whole point of what happened with the Holocaust was dealing with prejudice and racism towards the Jews, towards the type of Jewish people over there. So that's a totally different race, group of race that dealt with that situation. So that's why I'm saying that racism it happens not just here in America. It didn't become invented in America, but it been happening all over the world. Do you know that it's in Asia right now? Do you know that it's Japanese people who are who are racist towards Chinese people? Do you know some Chinese people who are racist against Korean people? But when we look at these group of people, right, we see them as being the same, but they're not the same. But they're not the same. And that same thing where it's a difference between Black Americans versus the actual Africans, and there are certain group of Africans depending on what type of region that they're in that they are actually racist against Black Americans. Mm-mm. Yeah, Black people experience both towards them. If you're not Black, you don't um, live either. And non-melanated people use both towards Black people. Talking about prejudice and racism. Now, are you talking about currently? This is what happened now that non-melanated people, or as you say, white people, are currently still practicing being prejudiced and racist against every Black person in America. Is that what you're saying? Like right now? Like how the way it was, with our ancestors. Because if that be the case, I'm gonna be honest with you, I have not experienced that, and I live in Texas. In the South, we deal with prejudice and racism in a whole different level. Yeah, in the South, we deal with racism on a whole different level. Cause keep in mind, in the South, that's where all the slave master stuff. They didn't want us to be emancipated or anything like that. But by me being here in Texas, I haven't had that type of experience where um, I experienced any form of prejudice against white people or racism. But that is me. Yeah, black people have a strong dislike to people that they try try and use their skin color against them. Talking about the Africans. Mm, mm, mm. But yeah, I like I say, I never I never experienced that, never had that experience of white people literally being, racist towards me. Like literally. But I'm not saying that other people haven't neither. You know what I'm saying? The other people may have. But me personally, I not have it. Well, probably not directly. Maybe indirectly. I don't know, but I don't know. You said blacks can be prejudiced because they typically don't use skin color against other groups. I mean, yeah, but they'll use behavior against them though. That's what I was saying earlier about the Africans. The Africans believe that the Black Americans or African Americans over here are lazy, and so they have a sort of prejudice against them. Yeah, even right now and stuff. When I'm still talking about racism and all stuff. That I don't know. I don't know if you was you've been keeping up with the events that been happening in Russia and Ukraine. It's the same situation where it's dealing with a form of racism. I don't know if you know that, but um, part of that war is dealing with racism because Russia is trying to if this a word, Russia's trying to emancipate the Ukraine and make on Ukraine into Russia again. Because back in the day, Ukraine used to be a part of Russia until they liberated themselves and separate themselves from Russia. But Russians have they're racist against Ukraine. They always have been. Ever since after when all they helped, they always been racist against each other. But yeah, like I'm just saying that because once again, it's not just Black American people who have experienced racism, but it's all over the world, all over the world. But other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and end this podcast here. Um, pretty good dialogue. I appreciate the dialogue from everyone giving me your perspective about this topic we're talking about. Salute to you. Thank you so much for that. And I appreciate the conversation. Um, appreciate it. And so that is pretty much it, y'all. I will end this podcast, and I will see y'all again on another episode. All right. And so y'all be safe. What time is it? 9? In a way, I kind of want to game tonight to do my gaming tonight. I kind of want to play Police Simulator again if I have time. If I don't, I may do it tomorrow. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But other than that, thank y'all so much for tuning in. And I'll see y'all again on the next episode. Peace out, y'all.